right, conversions. All right, so I want you to think of conversions. They're essentially ratios, but don't get them confused with proportions. So proportions is where we set ratios equals to each other, and now we're going to use ratios to multiply and cancel out units. So looking at our first example, it says a car travels a distance of 100 feet in about 2.8 seconds. So that's my ratio, right? We're comparing feet to seconds. So let me zoom up here. So I'm going to put 100 feet in 2.8 seconds. All right. And so my goal here is I actually want to convert this, what does it say, to miles per hour. So units, they kind of work the same as numbers. So for instance, if I had something like 2/9 and I was multiplying that by 1/4, there are a few of us that know that we could kind of break the 4 into 2 times 2, and then this 2 and that 2 cancels. And so rather than having to reduce at the end, we're kind of reducing within there. And the units, they work the same way. So first, let's just focus on canceling out feet. So in doing so, I'm going to multiply this by another ratio where feet are in the numerator, and my goal is to have miles. So hopefully I know something about how many feet are in miles. And so I look up at the top, the conversions to know, and I know that 5,280 feet are in 1 mile. So now what I've just done is I've now canceled out that unit of feet, and I have my desired unit of miles. Now I want to cancel out the seconds. So I'm going to multiply this by another ratio where seconds are in the numerator. And I usually just kind of say, well, what do you know about seconds? Initially, like when your first thought is that, well, I know that there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So now doing this, I've canceled out seconds, but now I have the, not the desired, but the unit of minutes. And I don't want that. So then I have to multiply this one more time where minutes are in the numerator and my desired unit of hours are down here because I know that there's 60 minutes in an hour. Okay, and so from here, now that I've canceled out the minutes, now I have hour and I've got mile, I'm good to go. I can go ahead and just multiply all of my numerators, and that's going to give me 360,000. And then I'll multiply all my denominators, and that's going to give me 14,784. But that's miles an hour, and I want it per 1 hour. So what that means is I want my denominator to be 1. To do that, you're just going to divide top to bottom. So 360,000 divided by 14,784. That's going to give you approximately 24.4, and then that's miles per hour. So let's look at our second example. And this one, they're just asking me to change 840 inches to yards. So that's only 1 unit change. I'm going to write, and here's another thing too, is they're not comparing two, so where I'm looking for, they're not comparing 2 units of measure. I just have 840 inches. And so when that's the case, I can just kind of put it over 1. So to get rid of inches, I'm going to put inches in the denominator. Now, what do I know about inches? Well, up here, I know that there are 12 inches in a foot. And unfortunately, I don't want feet. I've canceled out inches, but now I have feet. So what do I know about feet? Well, there are 3 feet in a yard. So now I can multiply this by 3 feet will go down here so that the unit feet cancel, and then 1 yard will go up here because I know that there's 3 feet in a yard. And now I can go ahead and multiply straight across. So I get 840 all over 36. Now I want to divide this, and I want to simplify it, and that comes out to be approximately 23.3 yards, or 0.3 repeating. Now example number 3, I don't like it, so cross it out. Woo, cross it out. Okay, so instead, what I'd prefer to do is let's do number 4 in the practice. Let's do that one together because that one's kind of a doozy. So what they want me to do is they're telling me a 10K, like a race, a 10K, is 10 kilometers long. That's why it has the name 10K. So we want to convert that to, what does it want? Miles. And they even tell me that, remember, 1 meter is equivalent to 1.094 yards. So I think it's a safe assumption I'm going to have to use that information. So let's just start by doing 10 kilometers all over 1. I'm not comparing it to another unit of measure, so it's not, there's no other units to involve. So let's see, what do I know about kilometers? Well, let's see, up here, Okay, right here it says, and 1 kilometer is equivalent to 1,000 meters. So let's use that. So 1 kilometer is equivalent to 1,000 meters. Okay, well, kilometers crosses off. Okay, great, but that's not what I wanted. Now I have meters. So now I need to get rid of meters, and that's where that little hint here that I kind of squiggly underlined comes into play. Okay, so I know that 1 meter, in case you're like, what are you talking about? Right there. 1 meter, there's 1.094 yards. So great, I've canceled out meters, but now I have yards. That's not what I want. I want miles. It's like this thing keeps going. Okay, so let's see. What do I know about yards and miles? Let's see. Well, I know that there are 3 feet in a yard, which will get me to feet per mile. So I'm going to put in 1 yard, there's 3 feet. Okay, I'm almost there because now I've crossed out yards, but now I have feet, and I do know that there's 5,280 feet in a mile. Oh my gosh, end in sight. So I'm going to multiply this. I even ran out of room, geez. So I know that there's 5,280 feet in a mile. So now my feet are gone, and now I've got the miles of my desired unit. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and multiply all my numerators. And oh my goodness, what is that going to give me? Okay, so that's going to give me 32,820 miles all over. I'm going to multiply all the denominators, which is just 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 5,280. So that's 5,280 down here. And now I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to divide. So if I'm dividing from top to bottom, and that's going to give me approximately 6.2. Approximately 6.2. Okay. All right. So at this time, now let's have you guys try 5 and 6 on your own. So in number 5, it says a cheetah can run a top speed of 75 miles per hour. Okay, so there's my ratio. There's my comparison to unit of miles to hour. So I'm going to write 75 miles per 1 hour. And I want to change that to feet per second. So I've got a double conversion here. So that means, okay, let's start with the miles. I know, I'm just starting to memorize this, that in 1 mile, there's 5,280 feet. So perfect. Now I have my desired unit of feet. Now I want to cancel out the hours. So what do I know about in 1 hour? Well, I know that there's 60 minutes in an hour, but minutes are not what I want. I want seconds. So that means I need to cancel out minutes. So I have 1 minute up here. There are 60 seconds. So now I've got, let's see, canceled out miles, have feet, canceled out hour, then I got minute, but then I cancel out minutes and now I have seconds. Woohoo, we're good. So now I can multiply straight across, and that gives me, let's see, 396,000 all over 360. So that comes out to be a real nice number of 11,000 feet per second. And then finally, number 6. You travel at 10 feet per second. Boom, there's your ratio. 10 feet per 1 second. It's kind of like we're going backwards of what 5 was, kind of. And I want to change that to yards per minute. So let's start with the feet. So what do I know about feet and yards? Well, there's 3 feet in 1 yard. So I've taken care of feet. Those have canceled, and I have my desired unit of yards. And I don't want seconds, I want minutes. So I know that there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So now I've canceled out my seconds. I have my desired minute, so I can go ahead and multiply straight across. That gives me 600 all over 3. And so that's going to come out to be, is that right? 600 over 3. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Nope. So that gives me 200 yards per minute.